So here we're going to be going over place value, and in order for us to be able to answer these questions, we got to know what the names of the place values that we're going over, basically what they are, right? So here, let's start off with this digit here. This is usually the first digit we start off with when we start learning numbers. It's the ones digit. And then over here, this is the tens digit. Okay, and then over here, this is the hundreds digit. And then over here, it's the thousands. And then the last one over here is the 10,000s. Now, I haven't seen any questions that go further than that, but we'll stop there as the furthest out. The next one would be the tenths. And then the next one after that, let me make this a little bit higher. The tenths, and then here would be the hundredths. Here would be the thousandths. And then here would be the 10,000ths. Okay, so once we know that, we can basically just kind of cross-reference, but obviously memorizing this when you do the number sense test is going to help out. So the first one, it says, which digit is in the 10,000ths place for this number? Well, if you remember, the 10,000ths place is that last digit. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So the 1 here is 4 away, so that's the 10,000ths place. The next one is the 10,000s place, so that's going to be on the left side of the decimal. So ones, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, so it'd be 3. The next one is the hundredths, so we have the tenths, and then we have the hundredths, which is 2. And then we have, didn't mean to put that in there, we have the tenths place. So the tenths place is going to be right here. That's going to be the 1. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Once you know the place values, I think it's going to help out. Okay, now over here, rounding. Whenever you're rounding, you got to first know what place value you're rounding to, and then you're going to look to the left of that place value. So for instance, here we want to round to the nearest tenths. Well, the tenths is the 1, and then we look at the number before it. So since it's 5 or more, that means we're going to increase this one by 1, and the rest of these become zeros. So we're going to write down 71309.2, and we don't write the 2, these become zeros, but we don't write the 0 because that's considered to be wrong in number sense, in the number sense test. So we don't write the zeros there. The next one, it says round to the nearest tens. So the tens here is, it's the 0 over here. So that's, since the 9, which is to the left of it, is greater than 5, then we're going to increase this 0 by 1. So it's going to be 1, and then the 9 becomes a 0, and then we don't write any of the decimal places over here because that's considered to be wrong. We do replace this 9 with a 0, but not the numbers to the right if there's zeros. Okay. Next one is round the hundreds we're going to round to the nearest hundreds. So the hundreds is the 3. We look at the number before it, which is 0. Since that's less than 5, we're going to keep the 713, and then we're going to write 00 for the other 2 numbers. So we didn't round up. Okay. Next one says round the nearest tenths. So the tenths place is the ones here. We look at the number before it. Is that greater than 5 or equal to 5? The answer is no. So everything else is going to stay the same, even the tenths place. And then the 2 and the 4, we don't write as zeros because that'll be considered wrong. Next one is the hundredths place. So it's a 2. We look at the number before it. It's a 5. So we are going to increase this 2 to a 3. So it's going to be 71309.12. Okay. Now over here, these are the tricky ones that can pop up on the number sense test. So here we're wanting to round to the nearest thousandths. Okay, so thousandths place is the 9. We look at the number before it, and that's an 8, so it's bigger than 5. So that means we're going to increase this 9 by 1. Okay, which means it becomes a 10, which means now this becomes an 8. So we got to be careful with those. So it's going to be 69803.28. And then we don't write the zeros that are over here on this other side, okay? So the trick is what number you're rounding to, it could even potentially become a 10, and then you make the next number to the left of it greater than 1, or make it you add 1 to it. The next one is the 10,000s place. So this is the ones, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s place. So it's going to be, sorry, that's the thousands. So the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So the number before it is greater than 5, so that means we're going to increase this one by 1, which means we're going to increase that one by 1, which means we're going to increase the next one by 1. So it becomes very layered. So it's going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So it's going to be 1 million. And then that, which is a good point, I actually put commas there, and you're not supposed to put commas in the number sense test because it's considered to be wrong, okay? So we have the 2 becomes 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 9, 0, 9, 0. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we should have 6 zeros here, so this is your final answer, okay? The tens place here, which is the 9, that one, since this 7 is greater than 5, we're going to increase that one by 1. Well, that becomes a 10, so that means we're going to make this 3 increase it by 1. So it's going to be 6, 9, 8, 0, 3, actually 8, 0, 4, because the 9 before it increased by 1. So this is your final answer. So be careful with these tricky ones.